Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back on the Usk. I was here yesterday and there was a lot of mullet feeding right up close to the bank, and I've just spotted another one. So I'm back here today doing mullet. I'm going to specialise in mullet today. I've never done it before. I've read up a lot on it and watched a few YouTube channels. So I'm using a simple 10-foot boat rod, which is quite lightweight. Paired it up with my DC Yo Gotcha reel, and on that I have brown 8-pound monofilament. I've got a very small weight, only a few grams up on my main line before it connects up to my leader, and I've got a size 6, I think size 6 hook with just a couple of small pieces of gummy bait. Now this is ragworm flavour. I've also got krill flavour with me. I did actually buy some bread on the way here, but somehow between the supermarket and getting to the bank, it fell out of my backpack. So I've got no bread. This is the only bait I've got. So I've got a very small weight, just to give me a little bit extra casting distance. It's about 40 minutes before high tide. So I've seen a few mullet feeding. So I'm just going to toss this out about 10 foot at most, and then bring the bait back towards the bank so don't spook the fish, or spook it as little as possible. I know that mullet can be quite difficult. They do spook quite easily, so trying to be gentle. Very small hook because they've got a soft mouth, very small pieces of bait, and we'll just gently drop it in about 40 minutes before high tide. It's a little bit overcast, quite cool, a little bit of a breeze blowing, but not much. So let's see how we go. So as the tide comes in, I'm going to get rid of that weight and just free line and let the current of the tide bring the bait into the bank, because I know where the fish are. There's fish just over about 15 foot to my left. So with the tide coming in, it's slowly moving that bait to where the fish are, and hopefully we'll get a bite, but we'll wait and see. Be back later. Right, we've had a little bit of movement on that rod tip, and the line is generally in the location that I last saw the fish. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, we've lost a little bit of bait on that. Let's just top that bait up a little bit more. Let's just untangle it as well. Must be getting close to high tide if the boat's coming up. I'll do for let's suss that out. It's just she said I've got a very small hook and just a tiny piece of bait is needed. I would prefer it if I had bread, but I don't, so let's get this out, because the fish are definitely just wait for those bow waves to go. That boat was going way too fast, really. Sounds like it's quietened down a little bit. So I've got two flavours of gummy baits today. I've got the red is ragworm flavour, and the sort of clear is krill flavour. Now I know, according to the sea fishing website, that mullet like bread, but they will also take sardine, shrimp, crab, and lots of other baits. So hopefully this will attract them. Probably take a bit of time now that that boat has gone past for any mullet around to start feeding again, because it would have scared them a bit with all those waves. But I've landed that in just the right place, and we'll see what happens. Right, I've actually seen one just in front of me. It was a mullet about 2 foot off the bank directly in front of me, and even though the water's quite cloudy as it is on the Usk and full of sediment, I could see it quite clearly. About that big, swimming off to my right. So I've moved over from the left, I've cast it out to the right, and I'm about 3 foot off the bank. So hopefully now that that boat passed about 20 minutes ago, things have calmed down and the mullet are back. Just got to hope that they start feeding, and we might have some action over the next hour, hopefully before the tide drops too much. But let's see what happens. Right, we're just going to change directions again because I've seen a couple jumping over to the right. No, I see some movement down here to the left. I'm just going to slowly trawl it in, reel it in, and do another couple of casts. It looks like they've started to feed quite late on in the tide, but we are getting some movement now. Yeah, there's definite movement happening. Definitely started to fish. Definitely started to feed. It's more. Oops. It is definitely a feeding time going on now. Definite action going up or going down. I assume that it's because I'm coming down with the tide now, with the tide beginning to come out, go out. Just finishing. Okay, so to the left of me and to the right of me, and I just don't know where to go. I think I might have lost the bait on that one. No. Oh, now there's a big one. Just across to the left, the fin is out and he's coming in my direction. Right, so I know that it's feeding time. Now, actually, it would probably be better, thinking about it, if I used the margin pole. And then I could just drop it right on where the fish are feeding. But the tide is well on the way out now, and you can actually see the fish coming up and down, making trails in the mud. Oh, lost the bait on that one. I thought I'd had a nibble, and the bait is gone. So let's try a lugworm. But there's definitely lots of movement and activity out there at the moment. Ooh. Okay, so that was my first session targeting mullet, and what did I think? I loved it. I've only really been sea fishing for, well, less than a year since I moved into Newport, mainly because the estuary is only 10 to 15 minutes walk away. So I've been to sea fishing, but previously I was a freshwater angler, particularly I love pike. What I found with normal sea fishing is that there's not quite so much field craft involved, or maybe there is, and that's why I'm not catching many fish. But to me, sea fishing, it's nice, it's enjoyable, get straight in the sun, but there's not a great deal of field craft compared to freshwater fishing. But now with the mullet, I'm definitely going to go mullet fishing again. You have to watch your river, you have to spot where the fish are, you have to know the behaviour of the fish, and then you can take some sort of tactics as to how to catch those fish. The one thing that really disappointed me was that I didn't have that bread. Where I lost it, I don't know, it fell out of the bag somewhere. Had I had enough bread, I could have sort of chummed the water and attracted the fish over. But definitely something I'm going to do again. I loved that little bit of mullet fishing. The first couple of hours, I was out for 3 hours. The first couple of hours wasn't so great. I think the main problem was that when that boat came down, it really did scare all the fish away. They just wasn't feeding after that. You know, they were beginning to appear. The boat came, they disappeared, and about half an hour later, the boat came back, and there wasn't really anything for about an hour then. And then the fish started to return, started to feed, started to get active, and you could target where to place your bait and things like that. So I had a few nibbles, definitely had a few nibbles, didn't bring anything in, but it's something I'm going to do again. Next time I'm going to have my bread with me, I'm going to chum the water, get the bread out and see what happens. Mullet fishing is completely different to normal sea fishing where you just cast your line out and wait. It's very active, very much more like freshwater fishing. So it was a great 3 hours for me, and it's something I'm going to replicate and do again. So that's it for today's video. If you want to see more fishing videos, product review videos and the like, please subscribe, share and like. So until next time, thank you for watching.